Hey guys, what is up? It is Redmercy bringing you a new video. This is going to be a new series I decided to make, and I'm going to call it Patch Analysis or LOL Patch Analysis. And this is just going to be where I'm going to be talking about the newest patch that is going to be hitting League of Legends, in the near future. And once enough information is released about it, I am just going to talk about it, maybe my thoughts on it, thoughts on the nerfs, the buffs, the new champion, all that kind of stuff, and any changes that they're doing to the new patch. So I think it'd be a pretty cool and interesting series, maybe because people usually ask me, what are my thoughts on this and that and all that kind of stuff. So why not make a series about it? And so since this is the first episode, I'm not exactly 100% sure how I'm going to do it yet, in the sense that in the comments, after you're done watching this, tell me how you want it. Do you want it so that I only record my screen and I constantly record my screen so you see exactly what I'm doing and stuff like that? Or do you want me to kind of record my screen for a bit, and then when I'm kind of, rambling on about something, I switch it to maybe just random gameplay of League of Legends, and then when I'm done talking about that, I'll switch it back here so you guys can see the page again quickly, and then I'll switch it back to more random League of Legends gameplay. So I don't know how you guys want it. Tell me in the comments how you would want it. Do you want it just to record my screen the whole time, or do you want me to every now and then switch to some random LOL gameplay? Also, another quick update I just want to say is that the mobile fire game with our team versus CRS or Curse, we'll upload it on Monday. I'm not gonna say who won because maybe some people haven't seen it and they want to kind of watch it with a fresh mind, not knowing who wins or who loses. So in the comments, it'd be nice if people don't really post, maybe the people that already saw it, don't post who won and who lost and all that kind of stuff. So that's gonna be up on Monday, so definitely check that out. And also, I'm gonna be probably playing all that for my next normal, which I'm probably gonna try getting out to you guys tomorrow, which is a Sunday. And so again, it is going to be Olaf, and I am going to be implementing a new kind of rating system at the end. So basically, for all my normal episodes or all my normal games that I play with the champions, I am going to have at the end of the episode a little rating, just kind of giving my 1 to 10 impressions on certain aspects of the champion and what I think, maybe so you guys can get a better idea of what I think of that champion. So I think it'll be pretty cool. And last thing I want to say before we begin with this update is the newest skin is Asylum Shaco. So if you're interested in how it looks, I do have a video on that. I'm going to put it on this video on annotation, so definitely click that and check it out if you want to see how it looks, maybe if you're thinking of buying it or if you're just curious. Alright, so let us begin with this. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the new champion, so Fizz. So when he was released, everyone was saying that he looks like the Lilo guy, or no, sorry, the Stitch guy from Lilo and Stitch. And he kind of actually does, he's like water-based and whatnot, so that's pretty cool. But, that doesn't really matter, who cares? Let's skip that, and let's go straight to his skills. So first, there are a few pictures of him. Let's take a look, that's his ultimate. It's pretty cool. And then this is how he kind of looks. And then I'm guessing this is one of his dances. And this is, I think it's his, this one right here, Playful Trickster. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But let's go on with the skills quickly. So I like reading the passives first. So his passive is, Fizz's dexterity allows him to ignore unit collision and take less damage from basic attacks. That's actually pretty cool. It's kind of like Scion's passive with extra stuff. So obviously he ignores unit collision, which means that he can basically pass through units. He doesn't have to go around a unit or anything like that. He just walks right through wherever he wants. And less damage from basic attacks. I'm guessing it'll work kind of like Scion's passive, where every now and then he has a chance to reduce damage. Except for him, I think it's no chance. I think for him it's maybe constant, so he always takes less damage or something. Maybe it's just like less damage reduction than Scion's. It's constant. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. Seems pretty good actually. So that's a very interesting passive. I'm not sure why they would give him that, to be honest, but whatever. So let's talk about his Q. His Q, Piercing Strike. So he dashes to his target, dealing normal damage plus additional magic damage. So I'm guessing that's just like a simple, target spell. You just click Q, click on this area. Actually, it's probably a target spell, so he probably targets someone and then he just dashes to them and deals some damage. Kind of like maybe Wukong's skill, except it's not, he doesn't attack 3 people, he just attacks that one person. I'm guessing it's something like that. So that's pretty cool. And the next one is Sea Stone Trident. So he has 2 effects. His passive is basically his auto attacks put like a dot effect on the enemy. A dot effect means damage over time, so it just deals maybe certain damage over like 10 seconds or something like that. And apparently the lower the HP that the enemy is, the more damage that this dot does, which is kind of OP actually, and that's pretty strong. Not sure why they would do that. That's very interesting. And then you can activate the skill, and he just basically deals extra damage and causes grievous wounds to his opponent. So maybe I think that's maybe the healing reduction thing. I'm not 100% sure. So that's pretty sweet skill actually. Now this one I can't really understand it. I find this skill to be really ridiculously stupid. So Fizz hops onto his staff, becoming untargetable. Now I'm like, what? Untargetable? So like how? So you can't, I'm guessing AoE skills will still hit him, but you just can't target him with actual target spells like maybe Malzahar ultimate or that kind of stuff. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. just seems a little ridiculous. I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna work. Like I don't know if Rai's like trolling us or not. I mean it's weird. And then his second part, which I'm guessing is Trickster, he may choose to stand on the ground or hop off to another location. So this I really want to see in action. I don't understand how this can how that's even remotely like balanced and whatnot. I mean, to become untargetable, like that's ridiculous. That's pretty funny. And then his ultimate, Chum of Water, basically he throws a fish onto an enemy champion, which I'm guessing deals maybe some damage. And then after like a few seconds, some random shark, which is in this screenshot up here, just comes out of nowhere, even through the ground. Kind of weird, but and eats the fish and deals damage and knocks back all enemy champions. I mean, that's very cool skill actually. That looks really sweet. Can't wait to see how that looks in an actual game, in a live game. So that'll be very, very cool. So I mean, just basically looking at this, the way I would think you want to do this or do his skills is you want to throw your ultimate on someone. I'm guessing, right? You start off with that since that has a delay before the shark. So assuming the delay maybe is like 3 seconds, you throw your ultimate on them, you use your Q, you dash onto them, or actually no, you pop W, then you Q and you dash on them, you start auto attacking them, and then the shark jumps up and hits them too, something like that. And then after that you pop this and you run away, I guess. I don't know, that's what I'm just assuming how he might work, something like that. So that's pretty much this new champion. He looks very, very cool. Kind of curious to see how he works actually. I'm definitely going to make a video on him, so definitely look forward to that. And let's get on with the next thing. So the next thing I want to talk about is the patch preview. So you guys, I'm sure have seen the patch preview. Where is it? It's right here. So I mean, I'd watch that. I took a little bit of notes just to kind of know exactly what I want to talk about and whatnot. So let's go through that quickly. So the first thing I want to say is they're actually changing what's it called? Katarina's Shunpo. What they're doing to that is they're making her W, where you can what's it called? It's a skill that you can activate, and then it gives bonus effects to your next Q or E. And basically what they're making is when you activate that W and then you use your Shunpo, you'll Shunpo behind that target. But if you use Shunpo without the W active, then you'll Shunpo in front of them. So they're just adding that little bit of an option so that you can harass easier in lane. So that in lane you can just use it without Shunpo or without the W, so you can be in front of them and then you can run back easier. Because before, whenever you tried harassing with her Shunpo in lane, like you would teleport behind them constantly, and then it can really put you in a bad position. That's a very interesting thing to do. Just makes it easier in lane to harass with her. So I'm guessing that's gonna make her even stronger in lane now. Not by a whole lot, of course, but it is gonna be making her a bit stronger. The next thing I want to talk about is they said that how they're nerfing Kate, Cog, and Graves, and they're buffing Corki, Tristan, and MF. Now they're not super buffing or super nerfing. They're just slightly altering them in the sense that they believe that Kate, Cog, and Graves are probably the most OP AD people right now in the lane, while Corki, Tristan, and MF are the weakest. Now I don't exactly agree with that. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, Kate, sure, Kate is probably the most dominant in lane, to be honest. Cog, I'm not sure why they would do that to Cog. Cog's early or laning phase is very not strong at all, actually. Especially, he's really weak until he hits level 6, so I'm not sure why they would really touch Cog in lane when he's really not even that good in lane, because Cog is all about late game. If anything, they should nerf his late game somehow, not his early game. So that's a little, I'm not sure why they would do that. Graves and Kate are, I agree, they're very strong early game. They have really, really strong burst and just control in general. Corki, Trist, MF. Now, I'm not sure why they would really want to buff them. The thing is, I'm not even sure how they're buffing or nerfing. They haven't really said. They just said that they're going to do really small nerfs and buffs to them just to kind of make them more balanced in each other. So I'm not really sure what exactly they're going to do. I'm guessing they might just reduce like maybe the scaling armor or something like that. But Corki, Trist, and MF, I mean, they're not even that weak in lane. Sure, they're not seen often because people like Kate and Graves can really outlane them just through the sheer range and damage they have and just mobility. But I mean, yeah, I guess it's okay to buff those two or those three, but I'm not sure why they would want to nerf Cogmas early game, because this main thing that they're doing is for the early game laning phase parts. So I'm not sure why they would want to touch Cog. That's very interesting. The next thing they talked about is Sion. They're going to be nerfing Sion by reducing his shield and his stun ratio on the AP by 0.1. Now that's actually, you might think it's not a really big nerf, it's like 0.1, like like wow, like okay, big deal. Like what's that gonna do? But hold on, yeah, but like I mean, what is that? Like you might think of what is it gonna do or not, but it's actually quite a lot if you think about it, because like every time he uses it, like if he uses it 10 times, that's like what? That's like a whole 1.0 ratio reduction on damage he could have done extra through using the skill 10 times. So it's actually quite a lot. It builds up after you constantly keep using the skill. So it's a decent nerf. I guess they're just trying to, they're experimenting right now with Sion just to see where they can put him. And I mean, they don't want to go too crazy and completely nerf him by like maybe 0.2 or 3 ratio, because since his Q and W are his only real damage skills if you build him AP, I mean, if you take away too much, then he basically becomes completely, shit. So it's a very interesting nerf. I'm really curious to see how it works. I think it's a nerf that was long overdue. He was definitely a little too strong with his ratios being really, really high. It's hard to beat him in lane, because he can just simply, once he gets like 3 Doran's rings, he can just destroy a whole creep wave with his W. So it was definitely a good nerf. So I'm happy about that. Next thing they said is that they're actually healing Sona heal, or rather they're nerfing Sona heal. The way they're nerfing it is they're adding, or they're making it cost more mana per level. So the more you level the W, which is her heal, the more you level it, the more mana it'll cost compared to the way it is now. And they're reducing the buff that it gives, because Sona's heal, when you use it on your ally, it gives them a little bit of a buff for a few seconds that increases their magic resistance and their armor. So I mean, Sona being one of my main supports, the way, I mean, it's hard to say. They're not actually nerfing her heal itself. They're not nerfing how much it heals. So that's good, because that would have been really bad if they did that. I wouldn't like that at all. But they're increasing the mana. So now, I mean, early game I run out of mana pretty fast with Sona, because she's one of those people that you use your Q and W a lot to kind of get that heal and harass going. And now that this is gonna happen, I mean, I think it's okay nerf. It's not bad, because her heals were a little strong, especially with her buff. Her buff is the only reason I really liked her. That little healing buff she gives to her allies, that increases the armor. It was really good. So overall, I think it's a decent nerf. I mean, I need to see how much they're nerfing it in a sense. I need to see how much more mana they're adding, and how less buff that the W is gonna heal, or the W is gonna give. So I mean, that's just something I need to see in detail. I need to see the numbers for that. So I mean, that's gonna be very interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that works. I mean, it's okay buff, or rather, it's an okay nerf. It's not a big nerf, but it is a nerf nonetheless. It's gonna hit her pretty hard during that first few levels of healing and laning. So kind of curious to see how that plays out. Next thing they're nerfing is the CV, clairvoyance. They believe that clairvoyance is actually being used a little too much, or rather, yeah, a little too much, in the sense that like the supports are using it just to see the jungler and whatnot a little too often, and just like preventing the jungler from ganking like too many times. I don't know how else to put it really, but basically they're thinking that CV's cooldown is too short and it lasts too long when it's actually up. Now I agree with the part where it lasts too long when it's up. I think it definitely lasts way too long when it is up. It should be a lot shorter than that. So that's that'll be a good nerf, but they're also increasing the cooldown on it, maybe to like a minute or something, rather than like the 40-ish that it is right now. So that's a very interesting thing to do. I'm curious to see how that plays out. And the whole reason they're doing this is because they're trying to make CV not like the only summoner spell that supports will take, because now every support you see will take flash and CV. That's like the most standard thing to do. And I think that they want to kind of make it more versatile, in the sense that maybe you can take flash and heal, because they are buffing heal, or maybe flash in the new spell that they're putting in promote. So that'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. And speaking of that, they're adding a new summer spell called Promote, which is the one that you see in the minion, where you can buff up the cannon minion and he becomes stronger and whatnot, and just deals extra damage. And they're also buffing heal, so heal now actually heals more late game. So that'll be very interesting to see if maybe support summoner spells will change from like flash CV to like flash heal or something like that. Very cool. So we'll see what happens with that. And next thing I'll talk about to you guys is the mastery. So as you can see, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw they changed the mastery. This is like how the new one looked like. I mean, it looks completely different. Every single skill looks different. It looks like, I don't know, it looks really, really cool now. I can't wait to see exactly the stats of this, because like, there's nothing here now and like whatnot. And this is like 1 point, which used to be the that was the icon for the heal that gives, or rather that gives the extra HP, which is like down here somewhere. Now it's up here with only 1 point. And I mean, it looks really, really cool. I can't wait to see. I mean, this looks the same to me. And I don't know, I mean, I'm really curious to see the stats on this exactly. I want to see what each of these do, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I like these kind of changes, changes that completely alter the way you can play the game. I mean, they're always really interesting to see. They're really interesting to just play around with and just find out how it works and whatnot. I really like them. It's really interesting to do. And so let's talk about each little tree quickly from what I can see. So for the offense, here they mentioned how the offense tree, they're making options equally viable for champions that specialize in physical or magical damage. So that's a really cool thing to do, even though I think it kind of already was like that, considering the fact that this one, the way it is right now, gives damage like maybe 4% extra damage for all magic and regular attack damage kind of skills. So I mean, I thought it was already like that. I'm not sure why they put that there. It seemed to me that it was already like that. Maybe they're increasing the mana. I think they're putting the mana regen that was in utility, maybe in offense or something like that, so that it'll be more better for, you know, the casters and stuff like that. So I mean, curious to see how that works. Now, one thing I don't like is the defense tree. They're saying the defense tree has new options for initiators who want to increase their movement speed, gain increased gold from kill assists. Now, I don't know what to say about that. That's very odd. To me, a defense tree is not a tree that I would expect to see something like, you know, increased movement speed or increased gold gain. That's something that is just, has utility written all over it, you know? It's not something that's defense. I don't see how gaining more gold is really a defensive thing, or how gaining movement speed is a defensive thing either, because that's just, it's utility. I mean, the first thing you think about when you hear, you know, more movement speed or more gold or something like that is utility, not defense. So that's very interesting. I'm not sure where they're going with that. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. And then utility, they're saying that they're making utility have better options for support champions, so that they can spec into there to get you know, more passive gold gain, which is already there, but maybe they're making it stronger or better, so more gold per 10 or something like that, and that you can have a higher starting gold pool. So that's really interesting. I'm really curious to see how that's going to work, actually. So yeah, that's that, and I'm curious to see how that's going to work. So that's a very interesting change to the utility. That's a pretty big change, and I really want to see the numbers for that. So they also said that they changed the summoner spell thing in the mastery, so that, you know, before, like, if you want to spec into Flash was like all the way down here, and if you were like maybe, I don't know, top lane or something, you know, you wouldn't spec into utility most of the time. You'd probably spec into defense, maybe or offense. Usually you want to spec into defense so you can get that Flash reduction cooldown thing. But now apparently they're making almost all, if not all, the summoner spells somewhere around the first or second branch, so that you can spec into the summoner spells that you decide to play with your champion, no matter like which tree you're actually going to be specking mainly into. So that's very interesting to see. Now, like, about that, like, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because, like, you know, it's a good thing because, like, it's nice to have. It's nice to be able to have the summoner spells you decided to play with, you know, being able to spec into them and whatnot, and having the extra benefits of it from the masteries. But it's also not, I think it's kind of a bad thing, because I think that'll just, it might make it a little too like OP, actually, because people will constantly have their summoner spells like buffed from the masteries, when, like, you know, because, like, the whole point of the way they had it, just, or the way they have it right now at least, is so that people that spec into the certain, you know, trees and whatnot, like, it depends what you, like, the role you're playing. So if you're playing like a top, for example, and you're getting the Flash exhaust, I mean, you know, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it really, but the way they have it is so, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, so the role you're playing is, like, you can only spec into the masteries or the spells, summoner spells, that your role needs to be able to spec into. You know what I mean? Like, but now that any role can spec into any master or any summoner spells, makes it so that, like, it makes, obviously it opens up more options, but at the same time, like, you know, you don't want to have too many options open, because then it'll just be like all over the place and anyone can play anything almost. So you know, really curious to see how that works. I'm sure maybe a couple of summoner spells they'll have somewhere near the middle still, maybe like this one, I'm not sure. That one look like I'm guessing that might be promote or something. I'm not sure. Look, kind of curious to see what that one is, but I'm not sure what this one is. This one looks like runes or something. Maybe you get bonus effects from runes. I don't know. It looks really cool. Curious to see. And the next thing I want to talk about quickly is, like, the summoner spells that they're changing. So they're nerfing Flash. They're reducing the range of it and the CD of it, or rather they're increasing the CD of it. So that's a good thing to do. I think Flash is a little broken, to be honest. It's being used too many times, especially if you spec into it. It's just up every like 2 minutes or something, which is like a free escape. So that's definitely something to nerf. I mean, too many like people who make mistakes are able to get away with it. It's not something you really want all the time. You want Flash to be something that you have to really know when to use, and, you know, use it at the right time and whatnot. They're also nerfing CD or CV, like I mentioned. You know, they're increasing the cooldown on it while also reducing the duration that it's you know, it lasts on the map when you use it. Heal is going to be you know, is going to scale more with you know, into late game, so it can actually be a viable spell. Cleanse is actually being nerfed back to, I think, how it used to be, where it removes Ignite and Exhaust. So that's good. That's interesting. Maybe Cleanse will be used more often now. Rally and or Fortify are being completely removed, and Rally is going to become a summoner spell called Surge, where is it? This one right here. Now, you know, his name is not final, they said, but you know, Surge is what we know of it right now. And it's basically going to be the same thing as Rally. It's going to be mobile, where like you use it, and then instead of having like a little ward or something on the ground, it'll be kind of like a little aura going from your champion that buffs your or buffs your allies. That's pretty interesting. That's definitely a pretty sweet thing to do. Curious to see if that might be a viable spell now or not. And then they're making Fortify equals to Promote, which Promote is now, like I mentioned, like the minion one, where you can use it on a cannon minion, and you can buff it so you can push the lane a bit harder for that few seconds or something. So that's that. That's pretty much all I want to mention for this patch analysis, guys. So in the comments, don't forget to post if you want me to throw in random LOL gameplay while I'm talking about random stuff. I'm pretty sure you guys will probably want that, but I'm not sure. So first episode, you know, let's just see how it works, and then tell me how you guys want it. And also, since I am having a new rating system, I want you guys to post in the comments maybe, you know, what things you want me to rate a certain champion on after I finish playing them in normals, just to see, you know, certain aspects. What aspects do you want me to talk about? You know, maybe on a 1 to 10 scale or something like that. So that's it for this episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys stick through this whole episode. It was a little long, but a lot to cover this patch. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for my normals game. Peace.